she sort of like pretends to play with her. So like in the beginning, our oldest is like loving on her and she's like very maternal, and then our middle daughter is just like keeps away from her.
Hey Blake, it is 2 in the morning. Hopefully this does not wake you up. Whew. Wow, there's so much I want to say to you, and I hope that we can
because I had somebody who was just, it's like the difference between driving, you know, maybe like a Toyota Camry, no offense to Toyota Camrys, or like a Ferrari. You're like acting with somebody who's like a Ferrari of an actor, and you move a little bit and then they respond. And it really was incredible just in terms of helping me craft the performance.
They were able to present text from Blake Lively herself. I guess they had gotten a new version of the script they hadn't practiced or whatever at this point, and she said, "I'm just pumping in my trailer if you want to work out our lines."
Blake Lively has just been swept up in one of the most shocking Hollywood controversies of her career, and the courtroom was the stage for its biggest twist yet. A hidden phone call, claims of deceit, a legal dispute with millions of dollars at stake. What's really happening between Lively and Justin Baldoni? And has she just been caught in a career-altering setback? Excitement was high when the It Ends With Us adaptation was first announced. A beloved novel making its cinematic debut, with Blake Lively at the forefront, it sounded like a dream come true, at least initially. But whispers of discord started making rounds. Reports surfaced of creative friction between Lively and Baldoni. Their visions clashed. She pushed for an elegant, stylized approach laced with humor, while Baldoni leaned toward a deeper, more faithful adaptation. At first, it seemed like the typical Hollywood creative struggle, but things quickly took a more serious turn. Lively sent shockwaves when she suggested she had been pressured into a marketing direction she never agreed with. Sources close to her claimed she was left out of key creative decisions, pushed aside, forced into a position she wasn't comfortable with. Fans were stunned. Baldoni, however, wasn't about to let that slide.
I mean, honestly, the way that I get into a character is through their style. So it was more about who Lily is that was so fascinating to me.
In one case, we're going to put every single text message, every single document, everything on a website for everyone in the public to read, come to their own conclusions, and they can determine whether or not there was sexual harassment here, there was a smear campaign, or there was retaliation, because we have proof and receipts that absolutely and unequivocally—
Are you going to sue Blake Lively too?
Into oblivion, Megan. Wait till you see this lawsuit.
Oh boy.
They were able to present text from Blake Lively herself. I guess they had gotten a new version of the script they hadn't practiced or whatever at this point, and she said, "I'm just pumping in my trailer if you want to work out our lines." And he said, "Copy, eating with the crew and then heading that way." So at least they can prove in this singular instance she did invite him in.
His legal team acted fast, launching a defamation lawsuit. The argument? That Lively's comments had significantly damaged his reputation, potentially costing him not only this film, but future opportunities worth millions. The industry was divided. Baldoni was widely respected for his heartfelt approach to filmmaking, but was he really willing to take this fight to court over public perception? Then, an unexpected revelation changed everything. New allegations surfaced, pushing the dispute into uncharted territory. Baldoni's legal team suggested that documents, possibly linked to Lively, had been altered or even fabricated. The claim? That certain pieces of evidence had been manipulated to strengthen her stance. Online speculation ignited. Inconsistencies in timestamps and email records raised eyebrows. At first, it was just talk. Then, the case took an even more dramatic turn. What was supposed to be a routine legal proceeding came to a halt when Baldoni's team introduced a previously unheard recording, a phone call. According to sources who were present, the revelation was so explosive that the entire courtroom went silent. The judge and attorneys listened to the audio privately before deciding whether it should be played openly. And when Lively heard it, witnesses say her reaction spoke volumes. Some described her as appearing stunned. Others claimed she looked visibly shaken. Whatever was on that recording, it shifted the entire tone of the case.
It's a bit of a tough adjustment in our house, but it's good. I mean, I have two other daughters, so my oldest is very into the baby, but my middle child, not so much. But We're thinking of keeping her.
Does she like play with her? What does she think?
Well, she sort of like pretends to play with her. So like in the beginning, our oldest is like loving on her, and she's like very maternal, and then our middle daughter is just keeps away from her.
Always tease each other. He was, after I gave birth, he was like, oh my gosh, if I lost you and I, went to the park with our 3 kids, I mean, think of the ladies I can. This is a horrible thing to say. And he's like, I mean, I've got a long list. And I was like, oh, really? Because I just have 1 on my list. I don't have anyone on my list.
And then it wasn't funny anymore.
No, it's so much more of a burn. He's like, wait, who? And I was like, think of someone. Bob Newhart. I don't know.
Now, the theories are flying. Some insiders say the recording proves that Lively was completely supportive of the film's comedic elements, contradicting her claims of being forced into them. Others speculate that the call exposes a deliberate effort to distance herself from certain decisions once public reception soured. Another theory? That the recording was never intended for legal proceedings, but was strategically leaked to undermine Lively's defense. Nobody expected It Ends With Us to become one of the most talked about controversies in Hollywood. Instead of discussing how the film would bring the novel's emotional depth to life, the conversation has spiraled into speculation about legal disputes, betrayals, and one game-changing phone call. Lively's team insists the audio is being misrepresented, arguing that cherry-picking one conversation to dismantle her entire argument is unfair. Baldoni's legal team, however, is doubling down, claiming the recording solidifies their case. But there's a much larger question looming: who else is involved? Some speculate that powerful executives behind the scenes have played a role, steering the conflict in a way that benefits their own interests. Industry insiders say studio executives are keeping a close watch on how this plays out, as the stakes couldn't be higher. If the film's release is delayed indefinitely, the financial fallout could be immense, not just for Lively and Baldoni, but for everyone tied to the project. Experts believe this case could even influence how future Hollywood creative disputes are handled in the courtroom.
For me, a key part of my faith is figuring out what your individual contribution.
And it was a wonderful gift. Gina is everything you would think of and more. The cast is incredible.
And I didn't realize how much I was suffering. And so many men I know are suffering, but we can't ask for help. We can't talk about it, because if we talk about it, we're challenging the system that keeps us in the box.
I f***ed up. That is a fail on my part. One thing you should know about me is I will admit and apologize when I fail. I am far from perfect. I am a very flawed man, as my wife will attest. And and I'm gonna f*** up. I'm gonna say the wrong thing. I'm gonna put my foot in my mouth. I'm gonna piss you off, probably, but I will always apologize.
For fans, the scandal has completely overshadowed what was once a highly anticipated adaptation. Social media is ablaze with heated debates. Some are rallying behind Lively, convinced she was unfairly pushed into a creative direction she didn't agree with. Others are siding with Baldoni, arguing that he's being unfairly vilified. And then, the biggest question of all, what if there are more recordings? If one call was enough to shake up the entire case, imagine what an entire collection of evidence could do. One thing is undeniable: this fight is nowhere near over. Hollywood thrives on controversy, but even by its standards, this case is unprecedented. Will Lively and Baldoni be able to recover from this and salvage the film, or has the damage already reached a point of no return? And as new developments unfold, could there be an even bigger twist on the horizon? If more evidence emerges, this might just be the beginning of a scandal bigger than anyone ever saw coming.